Hi, good evening. So this is going to be a little tips and tutorial on how to get a guy to come up to you at a bar or a nightclub or some kind of a social scene without saying anything. So this is going to involve multiple steps. So the first step we're going to talk about, I think there's 5 steps altogether. I didn't write this down. But the first step, the first step is you have to build your confidence. So this comes from preparation. This happens way before you even enter the venue, right? So this happens at home where you're getting ready, doing your hair, and getting dressed, and thinking about what kind of night you want to have. So if you just go out looking like any old thing, ain't nobody coming up to you. Not because you don't look cute, but because you're not exuding that confidence and that self-love and that oomph, you know? So that's why it's important that when you're at home, you really think about what kind of look you want to portray and put a little effort into it. And a little bit of effort really goes a long way, ladies. So the second step is, after you've boosted up your confidence and you know you look fly and you step into the venue, you want to do what's called circulate. So the first step is confidence, this is circulate, this is the second C, right? So the way you circulate is when you walk into a venue, you want to just check out the whole place. And there's 2 main purposes for circulating. One is you want to check out who's there. So you want to start scoping out the scene. If there's 500 people, you want to pick out 1 or 2 people. If there's 100 people, you want to pick out 1, maybe 2 people. So you want to just narrow down your targets. You don't want to be looking at 50 different guys. You want to be looking at 1, maybe 2. So you want to narrow it down and notice and focus your attention on your targets. And the other reason for circulating is you want to be seen, right? So it's about, if you want people to come up to you without you having to say anything to them, guess what? They're going to have to see you. So when you circulate, you walk around, you make sure that you have good posture. So that's something you can practice at home or just on an everyday basis. You want to stick your chest out, suck in your stomach, stick the ass out a little bit, and have a little bit of like a sway to your step. It doesn't have to be like Victoria's Secret fashion show, but it should be something where you have rhythm and you look confident and you look good and people notice you. So when you walk by, it's like, whoa, who's that? So you want to look hot, you're prepared and you're circulating and your eyes are just going around. At this point, you want to walk the whole venue. I don't care if you do it counterclockwise, you want to do it clockwise, whatever you want to do. But you want to check out the whole space. Check out the bathroom, see where the exits are, go upstairs, go downstairs, go to the other room, go to the third room, go to the porch, go to outside, go to the balcony, check out the DJ booth. You want to check out the whole space and really get in there. That way you don't miss anybody, and more importantly, nobody misses you. Now, the third step in this is called targeting. So the way you target is you need to strategically place yourself within a certain zone. So one is, as you were circulating, right, you found your specific targets. And once you found your targets, you're going to rank them. Now, ladies, don't get distracted. If you have 5 targets, that's too much. You should really just have 1 or 2 targets at any given time that you focus on. And you have your primary target, the hotter one, and then you have your secondary target, the one that you will step to if the hotter one is otherwise unavailable, not interested, a dick, whatever. So focus your energy on your 2 separate targets and know where they are at all times. This is where peripheral vision really comes in. We're not owls. So we kind of look out the sides of our heads and see shit. And the way you want to place yourself is you want to first find your primary target. Say this is your primary target, right? And he's facing this way and he's talking to some friends. What you don't want to do, obviously, is you don't want to stand behind him, right? You don't want him to not see you. You want to be able to, so his eyes are kind of like this. And he can see about 120 degrees left to right, like this. You don't want to be front and center in front of him. Because, ladies, that's just too obvious. You want the man to have to work for your affection. You want him to have to cross a certain distance and feel like it's his idea, right? So here's where you want to place yourself. It's very strategic. If this is his face and he's facing you, root beer with alcohol. Here is the middle, and you want to be like in an angle like this way and an angle like this way. So I'm saying 45 degrees. So if I'm the man, you want to be like 45 degrees kind of this way, and then 45 degrees kind of this way. That way, when he's talking to his friends and he's talking like this, you best believe he's scanning around, right? Unless he's married or he's otherwise whipped. He's scanning around and he's looking for girls and he's checking people out, and he's going to be focusing where, like here and then here. And when he sees you, he's going to think, that's right, it's his idea. You always want him to think that it's their idea. So, and you don't want to stand too close. And this really is strategic because it depends on how crowded the venue is. So the more crowded the venue is, the closer you can afford to stand, right? If people are packed, like cheek to cheek, you don't want to be 50 miles down on the other side of the club because he's never going to find you or see you. So you want to be maybe like 2 or 3 people away. If it's kind of like sparsely populated, there's not a lot of people around, you can be like 10, 20 feet away. But you want there to be some distance. You don't want to be like right up next to him. Because then, again, it's too obvious. It's like standing right here. He's not going to think it's his idea. You always want to think, that's right, it's his idea. So you want him to do a little bit of work. Put in a little bit of work and effort into it. And if he's not willing to do that, ladies, it's just not going to work out. So don't even bother. Go on to the secondary target. So the way to do it is now you've strategically placed yourself within the targeting zone of your primary target, and you're within the appropriate distance depending on how populated the venue is. And the 4th step is the most important, and this is the step that most people overlook, which is why they fail. You have to isolate yourself. The 4th step is called isolation. That means not your girlfriend, not your gay friend, not your ex-boyfriend, not your mama, not your cousin. They need to go away. The problem with a whole gaggle of chicks hanging out together is that it's intimidating. No guy wants to go up, so there's a few reasons. One reason is if you're already with a whole group of people or you're already with people, you're already entertained. Right? You're entertained, you have something to do, you're having fun, and the guy feels like at this point if he approaches you, he's not going to add as much to your fun factor, or he's not going to bring as much value to your experience than if you're by yourself. If you're by yourself, looking a little forlorn, looking a little bored, he feels like he has value added, right? He can easily add value to your experience because you're already bored, you're at a bad place. But if you're like laughing hilariously and giggling with all your friends and a whole gaggle of chicks, it sucks because he feels like he can't bring anything to you to make your experience better. So that's discouraging. Another huge reason for you wanting to isolate is that it's intimidating to go up to a person, and it's extra risky when there's a lot of people around. Now, when a guy approaches a girl and there's nobody else around, and she turns him down, the risk is she knows that he was rejected. But if a guy approaches a girl and there's like 10 girls around her, now 11 girls knows that he is rejected. And that humiliation, rejection, and risk becomes higher, right? And higher risk means less likely to go forward. And another bad thing is once he's rejected by you, now he can't talk to those other 10 girls. Unless he's a fucking idiot, we all know that guy. But it's going to decrease his chance with other girls, and he doesn't want to take that risk. So, ladies, if you have a target, you want him to come up to you, make it easier for him. Minimize that risk, minimize the humiliation factor, maximize, in his mind, the probability that he's going to bring some value to your experience, and that's going to encourage him to come. So, if you're there with your girlfriends, just say, girl, I need to go pee, or I need to go do something. I'm going to go grab a drink. And then you go up, you find your little target, you place yourself, and you wait. I would say about 10, 20 minutes, not much longer than that. If you're there for like 2 hours, girl, you need to move on to the secondary because he ain't talking to you. Maybe he's got a girlfriend, maybe he's gay, or maybe he just doesn't think you're cute. So move on, but give it some time. I say about 20, 30 minutes. 30 is too long. 10, 20, 25 max if he's really hot. And then this brings us to our final step. So the fifth step, right? This is really subtle, and it's an optional step. You don't actually have to do it, but I recommend you do if you're good. But if you're not good, then I recommend you don't have to. Because once you place yourself in the target zone and he doesn't approach, you just need to fish in another pond. But what I recommend doing is a little bit of eye contact. I'm not saying like staring him down and being all creepy and like not looking away. I'm saying, you know, let yourself look a little bit. Let your interest show a little bit. Maybe smile. Maybe not. But you know, when people can feel when you're looking at them. You know how you walk around and can feel eyes on you even though it's peripheral and you're not sure and you didn't even look at them, but you can feel it. And guys are the same way. They know when somebody's looking at them. I would not look at him for more than 2 seconds at any given time. Best is even less. I would say less than a second. You just kind of like let it flit, you know, let it flit. Do a little bit of that, and he can feel it, and that's good enough because he knows that you saw him. And he knows there might be some interest. And if you're really bold and you're sexy, I might even throw in a smile. But if you're not, you're shy, I think it works just as well to just look. And that's the final step because then you really are honing in and letting your interest show. And look, let's repeat, right? So number 1, you got to build the confidence. Number 2, we got to do what? Circulate. See and be seen. Check out the whole venue. You want to pick out your best 2 primary targets, primary, secondary, and those 2 don't work out, move on again. Second round, primary, secondary, right, until the night's done. So in a night, you could do maybe 2-3 circulations of this, rounds, if you will. Number 3, right, you want to target zone. This is the man. You want to be here, you want to be here. It's very strategic, like a 45-degree angles this way. And then number 4, you want to isolate. Get your girlfriends, your gay friends, your mama. You got to get them away. Just you want to minimize that risk factor, maximize the value that he thinks he's going to bring to your experience. And number 5, you want to be a little coy. You want to play a little bit and show a little bit of interest. Never say anything. Don't get too close. And those are the 5 steps. Now, ladies, I've been around the game for a good long time. And I've been using this for a good long time. I'm not going to say it works every single time. And I don't have official stats. But I want to say about 9 out of 10 times when I'm at a bar and I scoped out my target, they come up to me. Now, is he always the guy that I wish and hope and thought he would be? No. But they come up to me, and sometimes if he's not who I want, then I move on to the secondary and I move on to another primary. But 9 out of 10 times it works, and it's fun to try. So I recommend you try. Thank you for listening to this tutorial, and let me know in the comments how you do. Bye!